How You Became a Hero, Chapter 2, All Might's Secret. I slowly opened my eyes to see fire surrounding the room, but not coming near me. I slowly sat up to see the man with the lab coat dead in front of me. What happened? How did all of this happen? Did I do this? But how? I don't even have a quirk. Unless... I looked down at the syringe that is now shattered on the floor. Yin! You heard the voice of Izuku yell. I don't remember anything that happened after he injected me with that red substance. Yin! My vision began to blur as I felt myself fall back into the floor. My body was becoming numb. I could barely keep my eyes open. Yin! I felt hot tears streaming down my eyes as I kept looking up at the ceiling, trying not to fall into the darkness. Yin! What happened to me? Izuku's POV. As I walked away, leaving Yin behind to get her stuff, I started to think about what everyone in the class said today. In all honesty, I don't know how we were supposed to become heroes without a quirk. But I know somehow, someday, we will become heroes like we promised each other we would. As I walked through a tunnel, I began to hear blubbering noises coming from behind me. I slowly turned around as I started at the giant green gooey villain in front of me. A villain! I screamed out as the villain began to tower above me. I couldn't move at the moment nor speak. I was frozen in fear. You'll make a perfect skin suit for me to hide in, kid, the villain said, and at that moment I screamed and tried to run away, but the villain caught me, and I tried to enter my body through the mouth. Don't worry, I'm just taking over your body. It will be easier for both of us if you don't fight back. It will only hurt for a minute. You'll feel better soon, he said as I tried scratching away from me. But it was no use. I was going to die here. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. Yin, I'm sorry. As Izuku struggled to breathe, a sewer cap flew out of nowhere and it hit the villain. The villain looked back in fear, to be greeted by the number one hero, All Might. Have no fear, you're safe, All Might said to Izuku, but he faded a long time ago. Now that I'm here, that is, he said with that big smile of his. The villain attacked him, missing All Might by an inch. All Might launched himself at the villain and delivered a well-deserved punch. Texas Smash! He said as he sent the villain flying, causing it to release Izuku. I was unconscious as I felt someone slap my cheeks repeatedly. Hey, wake up! Hey! A stranger slapping me said. Annoyed with the slapping, I began to open my eyes to see All Might standing right on top of me. Oh my god! Oh my god! Thought we lost you there, jeez, he said, letting out a sigh of relief. Ah! I yelled as I backed up about a few feet or so. Well, look like you're moving all right, he said as I continued to shake, not believing what was happening right now. All Might is standing right in front of me and talking to me. I think I'm dead. Sorry about that back there. I didn't mean to get you caught up in my justicing. Usually I pay more close attention to keeping bystanders safe, But it turns out the city's sewer system is pretty difficult to navigate. Ha ha ha, he said. As a word began to spin on me, I'm not dead after all. I can't believe this is happening. Anyway, you were a big help. Thank you. I've captured the evil villain. Thanks to you, he said as he showed me 2 bottles with the green slimy villain from before. Holy crap! I gotta get an autograph. I gotta have a pen here somewhere, I said, frantically looking for a pen. When I found it, I took my notebook and told All Might to sign it, but he already did! I can't wait to show Yin, I said in my head. Oh my god, thank you so much, I said as I bowed 1,000,000 times to him. It will be an heirloom, a family treasure passed down to generation to come, I finished, and he gave me a thumbs up. Well, I gotta go get this guy to the police so that they can take care of him, he said, as he patted the bottle in his pocket. Stay out of trouble, see you around, All Might said as he began to get ready to jump. Wait, you're leaving already? He said, a bit sad that he had to go. I mean, I might never see this guy again. Pro heroes are constantly fighting time as well as enemies, he said as he finished stretching and got into his jumping position. No, he can't go yet. There are still so many questions I want to ask him. No, stand back, I'm taking off, he said as he jumped, with me grabbing his waist. Huh? He looked down on me as I screamed in terror. Ah! After that, I might fall. Hey, what do you think you're doing? All Might yell. Let go! I love my fans, but this is too much. He said, trying to get me to let go. Is he that dense to realize that if I let go, I'll die? Oh, right. Well, hold on then, he said. He continued to fly. Short time skip. When we landed on a random building, I told him that I needed to ask him a few questions before he leaves, but he refused, telling me that he had to leave fast. But I still asked him that one important question that was needed to be asked, so I can tell Yin when I get back home. Is it possible to become a hero even if you don't have a quirk? I said, loud enough for him to hear. He stopped in his tracks and looked at me from the corner of his eyes. I'm a normal kid without any powers, and so is my best friend. Could we ever hope to become someone like you? I said to him, closing my eyes and waiting for his response. Without a quirk? He said, but without me noticing, his body began to smoke. People think me and my best friend don't have a chance, I said, looking down on the ground. That not having any powers makes us some kind of weakling. My classmates like to make fun of us, mostly me, but you know what? That makes me want to prove them wrong. Ever since we were kids, we thought saving people was the coolest thing that we could do. Yin and I want people to see our fearless smiles and feel safe, and be the kind of heroes everyone in the world look up to, I said as I slowly looked up and slowly opened my eyes. Just like you, I said, but froze as I saw a scrawny old blonde man standing in the place of where All Might stood. What? Wait, who? What happened? You deflated? I said as I stood there looking at the man in front of me. What the hell? Are you an imposter? I asked as I pointed at him. I assure you that I am. Oh, he said, but stopped as blood came out of his mouth. What the hell? I said, feeling a little worried right now. He told me how he can transform the way he can, and honestly, I was shocked. This can't be real, I said as I looked at him and figuring out if I'm dreaming or not. Anyway, I'm counting on you to keep your mouth shut. Don't go talking about this online or to your friends, he said as he sat down on the ground. I looked at him with confusion until he lifted up his shirt to show me a nasty wound on his stomach or chest. Gross, right? I got this in a big fight 5 years back. My respiratory system was basically destroyed. I lost my whole stomach. All the surgeries have been pretty much worn me out, and it can't be fixed, he said as he put his shirt back down. Now I felt bad for him. I didn't know this happened to him at all. Right now I can only do hero work for about 3 hours a day. Rest of the time this is what I look like, he said as he looked down at the ground. Now I wish I would have just let him go and not ask him anything. I can tell he didn't want to tell me this or let me find out about this secret. No way! Is this the fight that you had with Toxic Chainsaw? I asked him. Wow, you know your stuff, but a punk like that couldn't defeat me. Most of the world has never heard of this fight. I asked that it not be made public. I will save people with a smile. The symbol of peace cannot be daunted by evil. I smile to show the pressure of heroes and to trick the fear inside of me. He said, looking straight at me as I gasped. Heroes are always risking their lives, so some villains just cannot be beaten without powers. So no, I honestly don't think you nor your friend can become heroes without a quirk, he said, and that broke my heart and my dreams into tiny little pieces. I looked down as tears began to come out of my eyes. I see, I said. If you guys want to help people out there are plenty other ways to do it. You guys can be police officers. They are often teased because they get villains delivered to their doorstep, but that is also a fine occupation, All Might said as he walked away, leaving me alone up here. But before he left, he said, It's not bad to dream, but you also have to consider what's realistic, young man. And that was that. I don't want to break that promise you and I made, but that promise now has a huge crack on it because of what All Might said. As I stood there, I heard an explosion causing me to look up at where it was coming from. A villain? I wonder what hero will show up, I said as I began to run towards the door. But then I remembered what All Might said. That made me stop in my tracks. That really brought me down, and I know this will haunt me for a really long time. Oh, I will have to tell Yin. Damn it. I don't like seeing her hurt. As I walked around and looking at my notebook, I heard another explosion coming to my right. I looked with confusion as I jogged over there, only to see the goo monster out and rampaging. What? But I thought All Might caught him. How can this... Wait, when he jumped and I grabbed him, I must have made it fall out of his pocket. This is my fault. I overheard someone saying that a kid got captured by a goo villain. That made me wonder how that kid is holding up. I mean, I almost died within seconds of being suffocated by that thing. As I covered my mouth and looked closely who the kid is, my body began to move on its own. Kachan! He's the kid in there, and even though I know he hates me, I have to save him, but how? As I ran closer, I heard the heroes yelling at me to stop and to come back, but I didn't listen. I just kept running. I didn't know why. I want to stop, but I can't. "You're toast, kid," the goose said as he was about to punch me, so I took off my book bag and threw it at him as I kept running towards Kachan. "Kachan!" I yelled as I began to scratch him free. "What the hell? What are you doing here?" he yelled, trying to pry himself free. "I don't know. My body won't stop moving," I said as I kept scratching. I don't know why I did what I did. Maybe it was the look on his face. "Kachan, I couldn't just stand there and watch you die, even if you hate me," I said while tears continued to come out of my eyes. Just as the goo was about to hit you, All Might came. "I really am pathetic," All Might said as he stared at him in shock. "All Might, but," I said as I watched him. "Even though I admonished you, I was putting what I said into practice. I wasn't putting what I said into practice," he said as he punched the goo away and took Kachan by the arm. Blood was coming out of All Might's mouth as he said, "Pros are always risking their lives," and I stared at him in awe. "Damn you, All Might," the goo said as All Might's Detroit smashed it, causing a big tornado and strong wind to appear. I opened my eyes to see that the fire was gone, and so was the goo villain. And then there was silence as it began to rain. All Might changed the frickin' weather. I was about to say something when another explosion was heard near here, and I looked behind me to see that it was coming from Aldera Junior High. At that moment, my heart skipped a beat as I began to run towards it, screaming out Yin's name. "Please be okay. Please be okay," I said in my head as I picked up my speed. Yin's POV, your POV. I opened my eyes to see a white ceiling. When I looked down, I saw a green-haired boy sleeping on my lap. A small smile crept its way into my mouth as I put my right hand on his soft hair. I felt him stir me. He was waking up. When he looked at me, he stood up in tears and began to fall out of his eyes as he hugged me. "Oh my God, you're okay. I was so scared you weren't going to wake up, damn it! Don't ever do that to me again," he told me, sobbing as tears began to fall from my eyes too. After a crying moment, he told me that I have been in 1 week's sleep. He told me what happened before he found me, and I was honestly regretting not going with him. I mean, he got to meet freaking All Might and even get his autograph, but then he told me his secret and I was shocked. Izuku told me to not tell anyone, and I promised I wouldn't. "So, what happened after you brought me here to the hospital?" I asked. "Well," he said, beginning to tell me what happened. He told me that after Kachan told him that he didn't need saving and ran off, All Might appeared on him seconds later. Izuku's flashback and in Izuku's point of view. After All Might appeared in his strong form and turned into his weak form, he began to cough out blood. "Young boy, I came to thank you," he said to me, which surprised me a lot. "And also, to talk about your question from earlier," he said, and that interested me. "If you hadn't told me about your life, if you hadn't run into that fight, if you hadn't saved your best friend from that burning school, I would have been a worthless bystander watching for the crowd. So thanks," All Might said while slightly bowing his head. No, it was my fault the ghoul villain was there to begin with, I told him, holding my hand up for him to stop bowing. I got in the way of your hard work. I wasted your energy, and not to mention the time. I began to say, but then All Might interrupted me. I'm not done. You told me you didn't have a quirk, so when I saw this timid, quirkless boy try to save a life, well, 2 lives, it inspired me to act too. He said, and I looked up at him in shock. There are stories about every hero, how they became great. Most have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had a chance to think, almost on their own. He said, and I felt tears beginning to come up in my eyes. For some reason, I remembered my mother and Yin's mom's words at that moment. I'm sorry, Izuku. I wish things were different. I'm sorry, Yin. That's what they say, and that's not what I nor Yin wanted to hear come out of their mouths. And today, that was what happened to you, young man. All Might said as I began to cry even harder, slowly falling to my knees. You never told me, Mom, back then, the thing I wanted you to say. The thing Yin wanted you both to say. The words we needed to hear. Young man, you too can become a hero. And so can your friend. He said, and in that moment, the crack in the promise Yin made, it healed. That day was a terrifying day for me, but in the end it was a beautiful one, and I don't regret what happened at all. Dreams can become a reality. I deem you worthy of my power. My quirk is yours to inherit. Flashback, back to your POV, Yin. Wait, what did he say? I said in shock. Did I hear him correctly? Did he really just say that All Might said that he was going to give Izuku his quirk? Would you let me finish? He said, giving me a playful glare. I smiled apologetically and nodded, and right now I wish I had some popcorn. Flashback continues. Izuku's point of view. I deem you worthy of my power. My quirk is yours to inherit. He said, and my body froze completely. I slowly looked up at him and said, What? Not believing what he was saying. Wait, what do you mean inherit? Inherit what? I asked him as he began to laugh out loud. You should see your face right now, he said, still laughing, but then he stopped. Don't worry, I'm not gonna force the thing on you, he said as he walked towards me. When he was closer to me, he pointed a finger in the air and said, Listen well, young man. This is your choice. Do you want to accept my awesome power or not? He said while blood began to come out of his mouth. Again, I didn't know what he was talking about, so I looked up at him in confusion. There are a couple things you should know about my abilities. The tabloids called it superhuman strength and a boost. And I constantly dodged a question during interviews with a funny joke, because the symbol of his All Might had to be a natural born hero. But I am not. There's nothing natural about my ability. I wasn't born with this power. My quirk was passed on me like a sacred torch. He said, and that shocked me 1,000 times more than I was already shocked. Someone gave you this quirk? No way! I said as sweat trickled down my face. Yes way, and you're next! I can give you my abilities, he said, as he looked down at me. Wait, hold on. This is a lot to process, I said, getting up on my feet. It's true that there's a lot of debate as to what your quirk actually is. No one has ever figured it out. It's one of the world's greatest mystery. People are constantly talking about it online, I said as I continued to mutter some stuff about how it's impossible to pass down a quirk to someone and blah 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 blah. Sounds like you're overthinking this whole inheriting thing, All Might said as he stopped me from my muttering. Stop nerding out, he said as I looked up at him in shock. What? I may hide a lot of things, but I don't lie, All Might said as something blue began to blow in the palm of both his hands. The power to transfer power. That is a quirk I inherit. I was crowned with one for all, he said, and I looked up at him in utter amazement. One for all. I said under my breath. Yes, one person improves the power, then hands it off to another person. That continues to grow as it is passed on. It is a crystallization of power that spins together the voices of those who need help with a courageous heart. He said as the blue light dimmed and he clenched his fist. But why would you choose to give me a gift like that? What if I can't live up to it? I asked him. I was on a long hunt for a worthy successor, and then I watched you jump into action as the rest of us just stood idly by. You may be a quirkless fanboy, but you tried to save that kid, and then you saved that other girl in that school right away. He said as I remembered going in to save Yin, as I saw her there on the ground unconscious, with fire around her but not touching her. I immediately grabbed her and took her out of there as the pros finished doing the rest. You acted like a true hero, All Might said, smiling. That caused me to cry again. God, I am such a crybaby. Seriously, you gotta stop crying so much if you want my quirk, All Might said while laughing. He said so much to encourage me. He even told me the secrets behind his powers. Is this what I have been waiting for all these years? How can I turn this opportunity down? Okay, I'll do it, I said as I cleaned off my tears and stood bravely, staring at him with a smile. An immediate reply. That's what I thought you'd say, was the last thing he said before I told him I had to go. Flashback over, back to your POV, Yin. Wow, was all I can say as tears came out of my eyes. I swear what he said sounded like something out of a movie or anime. He gave me his phone number and told me training would start as soon as he get better. He told me he was adding his number to my phone. Wait, what? Why are you adding his phone number to my phone? Not that I'm complaining, I said while he handed me my phone. Right, I forgot to tell you, the doctor said that they found this weird thing in your body. Well, in your blood. So they took some blood out of you to examine it. All Might came in yesterday and he said that strong power that he's never felt before was radiating off of your body. And I told him that you didn't have a quirk, so how could that be? He started thinking, and then he said that as soon as you wake up, he would like to speak with you. Also, don't worry about acting like you don't know his secret. He said it was okay for me to tell you. He said, smiling as he sent someone a text. I'm assuming he told All Might that I have awakened. But then realization came crashing down on me like a meteor. All Might wants to talk to me, I said, as I felt sweat trickle down my face. He was about to reply when the number one hero himself appeared in the room in his strong form. Oh my god! That was fast, but he's here in the flesh and I think I'm dead. Hello, young man and young lady, he said with his huge smile. I can't believe this is happening. Am I dreaming? I said as I started to have a hard time breathing. No, you're not, but young lady, I came to talk to you about what happened last week. All Might said as he sat next to Izuku, who was surprisingly calm, but then I remembered that he met All Might before I did. Lucky bastard. Right, well, I was walking out of my school with Izuku until I remembered I left my science notebook. So I went back to school to get it. When I got to the science lab and got it, I was about to leave, but there was this weird-looking guy standing at the entrance of the class. I told him calmly, which surprised me because a few seconds ago I was freaking out. Was it the white-haired man that was laying on the ground in the lab you were in? He asked. And I nodded. So what happened after that? He said, encouraging me to continue. After the man came in, he locked the door. I told him that I only came to get my science notebook, and then I tried to leave, but he didn't let me. He tied me up with his quirt, and then he pulled me out of a medium-sized syringe that was filled with this red and gold substance. After he injected me with that, I blacked out. I don't have any memory of what happened next. I just woke up to see fire surrounding me, but not touching me, and hearing Izuku calling me, but then I blacked out again. I finished saying as I looked down into my folded hands. Well, the special police force did find a video of what happened in the classroom, and they said that they will show you as soon as you awake. They should be on their way right now, but it will take a few minutes. Now, the doctor took some of your blood to see why you have this immense power coming from you. Midoriya did tell me, and the doctor said that you were quirkless, that they are trying to figure out what happened to you and why you have this power now. There are scientists helping here with the case as well. All Might said as he looked like he was thinking about something. The doctor then came in a second later, with a letter in his hands. Hello, miss. Glad that you're awake now. Hello, All Might, and hello to you too, young man. The doctor greeted. I am Dr. Hatsuki. Right here I have your blood, DNA results, and that will tell you if you have a quirk or not. And it will tell you why you have this power. He said as he passed it to me, and I took it with my shaking hand. That day was the day I found out I was no longer quirkless. That day was also the day that All Might said he would help train me in Izuku. For some reason, I'm extremely excited but scared about this. End of chapter 2.